Okay, today's walk is at Tower Hill. Again, it's trying to continue the little trend we've been doing about non-woodlot county parks. Tower Hill is probably an abandoned farm, has been so for about 30 years. Some of the fields are beginning to grow up in successional woods. But also it's unique in the sense that Tower Hill sign is actually not really adjacent to the parking lot. It's at the corner of Mine Road and Mountain View. And just to the side of the sign is the trailhead for the system here at Tower Hill. Okay, the parking lot for Tower Hill is just off of Mine Road. There is a second area you can use down the road towards the spring house. If done correctly, you can probably do about 6-7 cars here. And again, for the trail system, you go back towards Mine Road, where you can go right or left depending on what route you wish to take for the day. Okay, behind the sign there is a little woodlot that the trail initially starts out on. There's been some trees that I've done on some of the other walks. If you've been paying attention to them, you can find some elm, you can find some sassafras, cherry trees, and a few other things I've talked about. I'd like to repeat this one, however, because it's a young tree, unlike what we saw at Jugtown. But it's showing the classic leaf shape again. And this is the tulip tree. This is the leaf here. Kind of looks like an upside down tulip right now. I don't really want to pull it off since it's a young sapling. But again, I mentioned successional growth. And sassafras, elm, cherry are understory trees. The tulip tree is going to be a canopy tree, and as this tree continues to grow, this will become about 140 feet tall or so. Maybe not quite that much, but it will be the dominant tallest tree in this area if nature lets the tree reach its climax. So again, in the woodlot, you can see some successional growth because unlike the sassafras across from it, this will always be an edge tree, usually never taller than about 40-50 feet. So again, there is successional work occurring here in Tower Hill. Okay, this leaf is another tree that has potential to be a dominant in the canopy. It's a tree I have not done before. It usually is an edge species in my experience, but is a quick growing tree. So in time, in another 10-15 years, this tree could potentially double in height. But it has sort of a broad leaf, but has a large sort of serration at the edge of the leaf. And this is large tooth or big tooth aspen. It's usually a very tall, straight tree. But again, these leaves are known because we have another one called trembling aspen, where they shake in the wind and can actually kind of make sort of a thunder-like sound with their leaves. But this is big tooth. Quaking aspen or trembling aspen has a much finer serration, a smaller sort of a sawtooth pattern at the edge of the leaf. Okay, this sort of reddish stem is actually a wildflower, believe it or not. It just makes a little white flower head. But this is dog bean, and it was used by the Native Americans because the inner texture of the stem is very fibrous, and if you crack it, pound it a bit, you can actually pull it apart. And it was one of the plant materials that they used to make their native ropes from. I'm not going to do it because, again, I don't have the right materials in front of me, but I also don't want to destroy the plant. But it is dogbane, and it gets these seed pods also in time at the fall that also, I believe, give the same fibers. But it's one of the few things you can find here in Tower Hill. Okay, what you have in front of you is a fourth stage or fourth instar of the spotted lanternfly. It's one of the more attractive stages of the insect, but it is a major invasive. This is the last instar before it turns into the flying beetle. The stages before this makes it appear all black with just white spots. But this is an insect that can be very destructive, and we do recommend that public, if they can, destroy these insects because they have the capability of attacking and damaging over 40 or 70 different crops or plant material, including agricultural crops. So again, spotted lanternfly is a major invasive, and any help given to eradicate it is appreciated by the state. An uncommon butterfly to this area is the American snout. While it can be found up through New England, in these areas it's never usually in great numbers. It does like dogbane, which is one of the reasons why it's being found at Tower Hill. But what makes it unique is its long nose, which is called a pallops, is used for feeding and can be seen in the picture at the end of the video. But it is a rare butterfly in the area, and again, it was called the American snout. Okay, one of the other wildflowers you may find around Tower Hill is this purple to whitish flower. It is called calico aster or starved aster. It is a common wildflower of fields and borders, which is what we have with Tower Hill, and is one of the many other flowers in the area used by the various insects for pollen and nectar purposes. This is the silver-spotted skipper, one of the largest members of the skipper family, and is a common butterfly throughout the United States. The silver spot on the underwing is usually a clear giveaway to its identity, but is another butterfly that likes to feed on dogbane, milkweed, and thistles. And again, all those plants are present here in Tower Hill, and that's why it's no surprise that this butterfly was found. Okay, you may know this flower already. A lot of people know it as wild carrot, but its proper name is Queen Anne's lace. It is the ancestor or in the same family as our wild or our store-bought carrot. But if you pull the root, it will not have the orange coloring of our store-bought carrot. It's much smaller, maybe only about an inch or a little bit longer for the root. But if you did break that root, it would give you the classic carrot smell. So again, wild carrot, or more properly called Queen Anne's lace. Okay, hopefully you're seeing a white fungal growth on the stem of this multiflora rose. It's actually something I enjoy seeing, but if you're a botanical person, it will probably make you dread a little bit, because this same fungus can attack the ornamental rose. But this is a fungal growth that's been coming from Ohio, and actually has the ability to stunt the growth of multiflora rose. Multiflora rose is a major invasive. Came from China back after World War II, where it was brought here on purpose to be sold as a native hedgerow to rein in livestock. But any resident, as they know, multiflora has become a major invasive in many habitats. But this fungus will actually help try to reduce its impact by putting the plant under a stress. So again, this is a rose fungus that also attacks the multiflora rose. Okay, this is the other unofficial area that a few cars can get put. It's actually the old driveway of the farmhouse. This stone structure off in the corner of this shot is the old spring house, and is the only structure that still remains of its farming days. But again, this is sort of a central location. There's trailhead on the far corner. But again, it does exist if public wants to use it. Okay, these flower heads in front of me are teasel. A lot of people know it as the dried flower head, but it has many different flowers on it, a purple in color, and again is a common flower amongst the meadows. Again, drawing many insects, butterflies, bees is for the pollen. But again, this is teasel. Okay, these are some black-eyed Susans existing here on the fringe of one of the fields at Tower Hill. For some people, it's not a true wildflower field unless they see some black-eyed Susans. I don't really know too much other than the fact that they are ornamental. What I'd like to shift over is to this gall, a goldenrod gall. Insects have punctured the stem to lay eggs, and inside this gall, a couple hundred insects, aphids I believe, may be growing throughout the summer. And in fall, what's going to happen is an insect or two will eat their way out, creating a hole, and that will be the exit point for all the insects to head off, do what they need to, and then go into their strategy for the winter. But again, this is a goldenrod gall. Next to the monarch, the tiger swallowtail is probably one of the most well-known butterflies. Again, probably named because of the black stripes down the yellow wings. There is a second form of it that is all black, and those are all females. It's believed that it's actually mimicking a southern butterfly called pipevine swallowtail, but it is found here at Tower Hill, where it will feed on the milkweed, thistles, and a few of the other plants that are in the area. This is the connection to the Highlands Trail from Tower Hill. It's found in the corner of the field on the west side of Mountain View Road. It stretches over to Jugtown about 3/4 of a mile away. You do need to remember at this point you need to follow the blue diamonds. The Highlands Trail did enter Tower Hill from Mountain View Road, where it had done a road walk coming all the way up from Spruce Run. To date, Jugtown and Tower Hill are now connected through a green corridor that's totaling about 650 acres in totality. So this spur does offer a unique opportunity if you want to do a through hike between the two properties. Otherwise, most of Tower Hill, as you've been seeing, are edge habitat and perimeter trails of the old fields within the properties, and do not offer the opportunity for a woodland walk. Okay, hopefully what you're seeing is second, third, and fourth instar of spotted lanternfly. The tree that they're on is actually Ailanthus, tree of heaven, which is a favored tree by them. And what you can see, hopefully, is that their proboscis, their mouth appendage, is actually down and pushed into the stem. They're drinking the fluid out of the stem based on the turgor pressure of the liquid inside the plant material, thereby causing a split to appear on the stem that will seep and eventually could risk some algae blooming, or not algae blooming, fungus occurring, and then cause additional damage to the plant. So again, they create the seeping wound, and that's what does the damage to the plants that they prey on. But again, multiple stages of spotted lanternfly all on one plant.